This is a Fox News Alert. I'm Lauren Green in New York. President Obama is in Norway right now, where he will be receiving the Nobel Peace Prize. The president has been meeting with Norwegian Prime Minister Jens Stoltenberg. The two leaders are about to make comments on their get-together and take a couple of questions from the reporters. We hope. Let's take a listen.
It is a great pleasure and honor to welcome you here in Oslo. And once again, I would like to congratulate you on being awarded the Nobel Peace Prize 2009. You have really created a new climate of international cooperation through your very strong emphasis on the need for dialogue. And I personally very much appreciate this opportunity to continue our dialogue from the NATO summit in Strasbourg and from the UN this fall. Norway and the United States are close allies. We are partners in NATO, and we enjoy close, long-standing relationships. We cooperate in the High North, and we work closely together on a number of different global issues. Today we have discussed the most pressing challenge of our time, climate change. We need a strong political agreement in Copenhagen, and I briefed the President on the Norwegian-Mexican initiative on financing, which is a key issue in Copenhagen. Developed countries must provide more funding for climate action in the developing world. We need money both for the short term and the long term, and we need funding both from the public and from the private sector. The cap-and-trade system championed by your administration, Mr. President, is fully in keeping with our approach here in Norway. By capping emissions, we reduce emissions, and we put a price on carbon, which is very, very important. This will bring strong incentives to develop new and cleaner technologies. We have agreed that Norway and the US will work together to ensure that efforts to reduce emissions from tropical forests will be an important element in a deal in Copenhagen. US leadership is crucial if we are to succeed in combating climate change. Mr. President, you are providing that leadership. We discussed Afghanistan. I welcome the stronger and broader US involvement aimed at ensuring development and stability. Norway is committed to continuing our military and civilian efforts in Afghanistan. And I am pleased to announce that Norway will increase its financial contribution to the Afghan National Army and Police to a total of $110 million US dollars for the period 2010 to 2014. We must enable the Afghans to take responsibility for their own security. We touched upon the situation in the Middle East. As chair of the International Donors Group, I expressed my support for the US efforts to bring the peace process between the Israelis and the Palestinians back on track. And we have agreed to work together for the UN Millennium Development Summit in New York next autumn. We recognize our collective effort on global health issues, including maternal and child health and strengthening of health systems. We need to scale up efforts to ensure the health and safety of every woman and child in connection with childbirth. We are ready to work together with you, Mr. President, to meet this and other challenges. Mr. President, we are delighted to have you here in Oslo. The floor is yours.
Thank you so much. Well, it is a great honor to be here in Norway. I appreciate the extraordinary hospitality of the Norwegian people, and I thank Prime Minister Stoltenberg for his friendship and his extraordinary leadership here in this country. I only wish that my family could stay longer in this wonderful country, but I still have a lot of work to do back in Washington, D.C. Before the year is done. Norway is a close friend and an ally, and the relationship between the American and the Norwegian people has always been extraordinarily strong. It's been noted that there are probably more Norwegians, or at least persons of Norwegian descent, in the United States than there are here in Norway. Norwegians were among the earliest settlers on our shores, and many Norwegian Americans rank as distinguished American citizens. I should also note that as I was driving through, this being my first visit to Norway, I understood why they all moved to Wisconsin and Minnesota, some of our northern states, because they look identical to Norway. Today, our relationship thrives on the basis of our common values and our shared aspirations for a better world. To that end, our cooperation spans a broad range of issues, as the Prime Minister indicated, including building stability and security in Afghanistan and the Balkans, confronting nuclear proliferation and climate change, advancing human rights, and global health. Something that obviously is pressing right now is the issue of climate change, and the Prime Minister and I discussed the ongoing meeting in Copenhagen, in which we're both strongly committed to a positive outcome. The United States has done a lot of work this year to transform the way we think about energy and our use back home, and to help to move international climate negotiations forward in an effective way. And I look forward to coming back this way next week during the Leaders' Summit that ends the conference. Prime Minister Stoltenberg and I also discussed how we can work together and with other countries to protect forests, something that he has personally championed, and I'm very impressed with the model that has been built between Norway and Brazil that allows for effective monitoring and ensures that we are making progress in avoiding deforestation of the Amazon. And we all understand that it's probably the most cost-effective way for us to address the issue of climate change, having an effective set of mechanisms in place to avoid further deforestation and hopefully to plant new trees. Prime Minister and I also reaffirmed our mutual commitment to improving global health. We committed to work together to deal with maternal, child, and newborn health, to promote research and innovation and strengthen healthcare systems. I discussed our strategy in Afghanistan, and I want to add that we are grateful to the people of Norway and the sacrifices that they've made on behalf of this effort. Norway has consistently stood alongside the United States. And as is true in so many other areas of international relations, I indicated to the Prime Minister an expression that we use in America. It's a boxing term. Norway punches above its weight. It is a very effective actor internationally, and it has been here on the issue of Afghanistan. And I appreciate the Prime Minister's announcement of the total of $110 million for Afghan Security Force Trust Fund. It will be absolutely critical for us to build capacity, and that's something that is at the core of the effort that we're embarking in over the next several years. Finally, I want to thank His Majesty King Harold V and the royal family for the extraordinary hospitality that they are showing Michelle and myself. We look forward to the extraordinary honor of the events associated with the Nobel Peace Prize. I want to thank the people of Norway, and with that, perhaps we can take some questions.
First question is from the Norwegian Broadcasting.
Yeah, I'm here. Good morning.
Hi, how are you?
Giving the Peace Prize to you, Mr. President, has been described as premature. How can you use the prize, do you think, to make some of your good intentions materialize and then counter that criticism?
Well, first of all, as I said, upon receiving the news of the prize, it was, or receiving news of the prize, it was a great surprise to me. I have no doubt that there are others who may be more deserving. My task here is to continue on the path that I believe is not only important for America, but important for lasting peace and security in the world. That means pursuing a world free of nuclear weapons over time and strengthening our mechanisms to avoid nuclear proliferation.